Good evening, dear friends. Today, I'm eager to share some pleasant news with you. Those of you who can see me clearly from this very moment will also be able to hear every word I say just as clearly. After we go through the procedure together today, around, well, those who are lucky, 60%, 70%, maybe even 80% of you. After this procedure we do together today, you'll start to hear better. If you heard any noise, some strange squeaking or whistling, it will also decrease for about 50% of subscribers. But there's a higher chance of a positive result if you subscribed, left a couple of likes as usual, and wrote a positive comment. And of course, send this video to your friends, those who are hard of hearing, or on the contrary, those who hear well so they won't lose their hearing. What do you think is shown in this picture? This is your ear. You imagine your ear like that. What you have on the outside, that's what is here. But let's dive inside your ear canal. Let's go deeper. What's in there? Here we are, inside. The first thing we encounter on our way is the eardrum. All right, actually, it turns out you have 3 ears, if you didn't know. Not 2, like these here. That's just the auricle. But you actually have 3 ears on each side. There's the outer, middle, and inner ear, if you didn't know. So, an average person has 6 ears, plus the auricle exists separately. The external auditory canal is the first structure that encounters sound waves. Right now, my words are entering your ears as a sound wave, as sound vibrations like honey to your ears. The first thing that meets them on the way, along with my sweet-sounding information, is your eardrum. It met my voice on its way. It started to vibrate, and then the sound moved further. Now the whole process has moved to the middle ear, where your 3 smallest bones in your body are located. Did you know you have a hammer there? It's also known as malleus. And you also have a stirrup, see? Turns out you have all sorts of stuff inside you, all kinds of junk. And right here, the middle ear connects to your nasopharynx, your throat. The auditory tube is called the Eustachian tube. So you don't have just one hole right here, you see? There's also a second one that goes straight from the nose, into the ear, into the middle ear. Why do you need it? To normalize the pressure. When you're flying on a plane, your ears get blocked like this. If you do this, your eardrum will make a sound and go back to normal. That's you letting air through this auditory tube. Or, if you're a diver, you know how to get water out of your nose. If you're a scuba diver, for example, right? You know how to use these techniques. The middle ear, if there are various diseases, can become inflamed, for example. It also affects your hearing. Inflammation can go straight from your nose to your ear. And then here's the stirrup. Here's the eardrum vibrating. Then the sound goes through these little bones, each one tapping the next. And all of this is transferred to the inner ear. This whole process is how sound is transmitted. It goes to the cochlea. It looks just like a snail shell, can you imagine? The cochlea and the semicircular canals. The semicircular canals are the organ of balance. They allow you not only to stay upright like this, on something that's spinning. Just imagine, the Earth spins around its axis and then the moon goes around, and then the Earth spins around its axis again. What else does it spin around? It also spins around the sun, and the sun spins around something else. Alpha Centauri is rotating too. Imagine constantly balancing without even noticing it. That's how we live. Because these 3 semicircular canals do all this work for you. But if their work is disrupted, for example, if a certain fluid in there becomes thicker, but it's a complex process. The fluid has to, at a certain time, the otoliths also have to shift there. You also have special microscopic crystals in your ears. And this allows you to stay on your feet, not lose your balance, so everything doesn't spin around for you. The information from your eyes matches the information about your body's position. The cochlea is also filled with a certain fluid, and the vibration from the stirrup is transmitted to this fluid. There are also receptors there that vibrate, and then everything is converted into an electrical impulse, which goes to the auditory nerve and then to the brain. And only after that did you understand what I said to you. The brain processed the information. Can you imagine how much time has passed? From here to here, how many centimeters? It depends on the width of the head. It's like, some people are slow to get it, that's what they say, right? It also depends on how flexible your eardrum is. The little bones, they move. It depends on how clear the tube is, this one. It's called the Eustachian tube. There's a disease called Eustachian inflammation. Eustachi was someone who discovered it for the first time, and so he was the pioneer, the discoverer. Even Eustachi Eustachevich. Just kidding, he had a different name, but I can't recall it. He was some scientist. And the auditory nerve, the cochlea. So, friends, what was all that for? To finally move on to improving your hearing and eliminating the noise. Here on the way, there are the entrance gates, you see? As soon as the sound comes in from above or below, here is the ear canal, which is surrounded by two muscles, the temporal muscle, and below here, the masseter muscle. The ear canal is a hole, not just a hole in the skin. Where do you think this is located? Where is it located? Inside the temporal bone, there is a structure like a pyramid. There are so many things in your body, you see? Rods and cones in your eyes, hammers, anvils, membranes, snails, and you also have pyramids. Each of you is a little bit Egyptian, in a way. Each of you has the blood of a pharaoh in you. Anyway, my friends, you're distracting me a lot with your conversations. Let's begin. Take your index finger. Or if it turns out to be too big, some people have big fingers, try your pinky. The average person can use their index finger. If you have nails, trim them for this to work. Put your finger in your ear. You need to insert it into the ear canal. No matter how deep you try to insert it, don't worry, you still won't reach the eardrum, even if you use your pinky. But if you have a long nail, don't do it. Be careful. So, put your finger in your ear. That was the first step. Second, rotate your finger. You know, sometimes I show someone, "Oh, you're such a fool." I do this motion to show it. Now you do the same thing, but only rotate in one direction. What do we have here? Turn it clockwise. That's what you should do. After you did this, now do it the other way. Turn counterclockwise. What are you doing this way? You are twisting all these tissues of the external auditory canal. This way, you create movement in all these structures that usually don't move. That is, as much as the mobility of your hand allows. Turn it one way, then the other way. One way, then the other way. At the same time, this part of the entrance to your ear canal is relaxing. When you're doing it, you might notice that you have different diameters on your right and left sides. On one side, it's a bit bigger. On the other, it's a bit smaller. Do it for a few days and they'll even out. And like this, you turn to one side and then to the other, to one side and then to the other. Well, using your right and left hand accordingly. Even after just this exercise, you'll notice some improvement in your hearing. The noise, ringing, or squealing of various frequencies may occur. We can discuss this further next time if you'd like. What does the frequency depend on? Okay, it doesn't matter. For now, we're just improving your hearing. There. Next. That was our first step. The second thing. Well, right, left. Repeat it. You can even do it on one side first, and then you'll feel the difference in your ears. It will feel like there's a slight rush of blood to your ear, and you'll start hearing better. Maybe. Next. Next action. So, we've taken and put our fingers in our ears again. Now, our other hand. It is. Oops, someone got confused. This right hand turned out to be the left. I grabbed the skin above my ear, pressed so that I'm pressing not only on the skin, but also a bit on the muscle. And now what am I doing? I'm pressing down with this finger and pulling the skin and muscle in the opposite direction, up here. I'm kind of stretching, pulling these tissues in opposite directions. I stretch them, relax, pull the tissues, reach the point where I feel a little resistance, hold it there, and then relax a bit. Again, stretch, hold, and relax a bit. Once more. So, like this, you see, this is the kind of movement I'm doing in different directions. Like this. But the amplitude won't be that big. I stretch, then relax. Next. That was our first angle. Here we were pulling on the temporal muscle. Well, we were kind of pulling the ear back, down here in the opposite direction. While doing these exercises, you may feel a rush of blood, not to the auricle here, but directly as if the blood supply to the ear itself is improving. That's normal and good. You know it's good. The sensations should be good and pleasant. There shouldn't be any pain. If something hurts somewhere, it means you have some inflammation there. Go treat the inflammation. Don't do this. Next. Now look, the hand that I used for the temporal muscle, I moved it here, pulled it. Now I put it into my ear. And with this hand, I placed it under the zygomatic arch, right here, on the area of the masseter muscle. I placed it here, and do the same thing. I pull them in opposite directions as well, making a movement along the muscle downward, as if I hooked onto it, and moved downward. And the ear, that is, not just the auricle, you need to insert it a bit deeper than the entrance of the auricle, so that the entire auditory canal, the outer one, is pulled upward. So you are removing all these adhesions, all the mobility restrictions that have developed over your long life. Wonderful. Pull in different directions. Stretch, relax, stretch, relax, stretch, relax. What's the next action? What do we have left? We did the north and south directions. Now we have east and west left. Yeah, as they say. Well, here. We'll just do what we can. Put your thumb there if you can fit it. Whatever is comfortable. Here, place your fingers first under this zygomatic arch and pull in different directions. Move the ear one way and the tissues the other way. Then move to the zygomatic arch itself and above it. But try to change the angle a bit in opposite directions. So here like this, and here like this, in different directions. Pull. That was another direction. And now the last one. Finally. This is the area right here, behind the ear. The area of the mastoid process. What do we do here? Again, put your finger in your ear, yes. And here, behind the ear, place your fingers, also kind of under the skin. So basically, you're moving the skin here, but along with the skin, you're also moving the tissues underneath it. Fascia, various muscles if you come across them. You pull it here in different directions. The ear in one direction, the fascia, and skin in another direction. So you stretch it out like this as well. After these manipulations, do a test. Close one ear and listen. Then close the other ear. And you'll notice that your hearing changes. Even now, I can feel it. At first, your hearing might improve only temporarily, but if you keep doing this for a while, you'll see a stable improvement, and any noise you had will also disappear. And the last procedure. Insert your finger into your ear again, and now do the same thing. We will pull, but we will do it like this, along the sternocleidomastoid muscle. Place your fingers however is comfortable. You can do it this way or that way. Your task is simply to stroke the sternocleidomastoid muscle downwards, like this. It's okay if you go a little to the side. Just stay in the area of the sternocleidomastoid muscle. And at the same time, pull with your finger in the opposite direction. Pull in different directions. If you have a big thumb, maybe it will fit, Well, it doesn't really fit in very well, of course, but it's not very convenient with the others either. But you'll learn somehow. So you pull in different directions. Finger here, hand down, along the sternocleidomastoid muscle. Well, friends, congratulations. Now you'll finally hear some smart words that I'm going to say, and you won't miss anything anymore. Also, what I want to tell you is that you need to do the same thing on the other ear as well. You'll figure it out yourself. Just do it as a mirror image. Flip the video horizontally and use a mirror. Got it? No jokes. This is a serious topic. So, friends, this effect helps improve hearing, also helps eliminate noise, and also improves blood flow to the ear. In some cases, it helps with dizziness that's related to dysfunction of these semicircular canals, but there can be other reasons as well. Well, don't be shy to brag about your results in the comments. What are your results? I wonder what percentage of people, viewers, have experienced an improvement in their hearing condition? And what should we say to the rest? Until the next episode, see you. Help your parents, do sports,